and welcome back to my channel and my series Hardy Zone 5B. I am so sorry for the posting this video, bringing up this part 2 of A to Z, from seedling to a plant series. I promised you guys almost I think a 1 month or more than 1 month back that I'm gonna come back with the part 2 of how to transplant your seedlings into your garden. But unfortunately I got sick, very sick. I got COVID infected, and it took me. I'm still recovering. I'm still not completely well. But here I am presenting the second part for transplanting the seedlings into the garden. I have already transplanted them a month ago, but unfortunately, due to my sickness, I was not able to capture all these clips for you. Um, so now here I am, and let's move forward without any delays. So let's get into the video. So as you can see here, I am taking out from those tiny, seedling pots to a bigger pot. As I mentioned earlier in my previous video that we are expecting to do some changes to your backyard, because of which there were like serious delays in taking out my plants outside, and some plants were getting bigger and bigger, and I had to move them to a bigger pots because those plants cannot do well if they get too big, especially the tomato plants. And you can see I'm just burning them in the biggest pot available, because tomato plants grow roots wherever they touches the soil. So I'm just digging them inside in the biggest pot that is available to me before I can actually transplant them to the raised beds where they're supposed to grow. So this is what you also have to do if there are any delays due to climate conditions or any other reasons. And as always, I have put emphasis on preparing your pots or your raised beds using the waste material and the half decomposed compost. I will put down the link below. As I've always mentioned in my previous video also, and there are other videos too, this is how I prepare my pots, the main pots where they are going to be transplanted finally. So this is what I did after the things were getting ready. So this is almost like 1 month ago video. I prepared these beds before they were actually ready to be transplanted, so the raised beds or the bigger pots get fully acclimatized to the climatic conditions. So this is what I did. I prepared raised beds. My plants were still not transplanted completely, but I prepared that in advance, at least 1 week before they need to be actually transplanted. Now coming on to the transplanting day, this is how I did my transplanted. Before you do this, you have to, you can see here I'm taking out some soil from the seedling tray and making a ball around the root ball. This is to avoid the shock, because when we take it out from the seedling tray, sometimes they just the roots come out bare because of the soggy soil or whatever reason. But try to make sure you give them the same soil around the root ball so that they do not get a shock. This is what I'm doing. Before you actually transplant them, you have to harden off the plant. This is how I've shown the video. I bring them outside for 1 day, then 2 days, then gradually keep increasing the time so that they get used to the outside environment, exposure, sunlight, winds, that make them stronger before you actually transplant them. And this is what I did for at least a week. I gradually increased the time before I actually transplanted them into their original location. See how they are, these the wind, the sunlight, they all give them strength. So this was the final transplantation. I'm just sharing the video what I did before I actually get sick. This was done around 12th of May. It's almost more than a month ago, and this is how they looked like. I'm gonna share after this the actual how they look like now, but this is how they were very tiny but strong. I made sure to harden off them properly, and they all are alive apart from some cucumber plants, because squash family don't like to be get big enough. And as I mentioned, like tomatoes, I had a way to transplant them in a bigger pots, but zucchinis, squash family, they don't like it. So unfortunately, my older cucumbers died and I had to start again. So what you need to do after you transplant, you have to mulch them, and this is how, as always, I just use my garden waste. I shred them off and I mulch around, my seedlings. This is how they look now. So as I mentioned, this is the current status of my, eggplants. These are the eggplants, and you will see what is around the plant, and I'm going to share that. It's the mulch. As you know, in all my videos, I put emphasis of using all the garden waste as mulch or as composting. So that is what. So these are my zucchini plants. That is eggplant. These are my mint and some flowering plants. These are my new additions. You can see the tiny strawberries. I planted strawberries for the first time. You can see the strawberries are coming up now. These are again eggplants. This is spring onions, eggplants, and these are my red hot chili plants. Red hot chili. Unfortunately, beets are not doing very well. The squirrels are not leaving the saplings at all. They're damaging it all every time. These are again my chili plants, that they have all grown a bit as compared to the video that I posted. This is the Indian zucchini, the tori plant that I demonstrated for transplanting into the plant bed. That's the same pot. These are, I will give you the word for, these are my tomato plants. And as you can see, this year I have done companion planting. So these are the basil plants. You can either put basil plant, onions. There are many companion plants that you can do based on, your availability of the space and your choice. So again, these are, tomato plants growing very well. I've also added some eggplants in this too. These are my tiny cucumbers, and I'll show you why. Cucumber plants don't like to be transplanted when they grow too big, and this is what happened. I had 10 of them. They grew big. Because I was not able to transplant them ahead in time, half of them were killed because they don't like to be too big. So I had to start again. So these are very tiny right now. I had to start them again. But they are doing well. This is all my garden waste mulch that I have used around. This is my Karela plant, the Indian Karela, and the bitter melon, the English Karela. This is also bitter melon, Indian bitter melon. These are my favorites, long zucchinis, or you can say long squashes. They have grown quite a big, but still not as big as compared to last year. So again, these were very small, so they are doing very well, but cucumbers, they died. And these are my jalapenos. They are doing well. Look at these. And these are all my sweet peppers, like green pepper and a mixed. I did, a sweet pepper blend this year. So hopefully you will see different colors of sweet peppers this year. So this is my plant bed for this. So as you can see, I have, put them all in my raised bed. And these raised beds were the cause of the delay. They were not ready. And I'm going to share a separate video to share all the, the reno that we did to the backyard. That I'm going to share in a separate video. But for now, these are the new additions to my garden. So this used to be my most sunniest spot. I'll put down the link in my previous videos. I have mentioned this spot to be the sunniest location. But now this is my shade garden. Why? I'll share in the next video. So these are all my radishes. These are red radishes, the small ones. These are my icicle white rocket radishes. This is Swiss chard. That is spinach. And these tiny ones are carrots. And this is a new plant bed that I'm sharing. So these gonna attract, quite a few pollination this year. So this is the overview of my tiny plants. So hopefully in the next video I'm going to share how they're doing, and I will also share the tips of protecting them, what kind of mulching you can do, when you should be doing. So let's meet in this next video, sharing the growth and the development of these new plants, and hopefully you can share yours as well. So hope to see you soon in the next video. Take care. Bye bye. See you soon.